Hello and welcome back to our Heart and Soul lessons. This is a short video where we are going to talk about the topic of hell. All right. Now it's not a fun topic. All right. It's not something that it's joyful to talk about. All right. But I want to review what we talked about in the last two lessons. All right. So what we talked about in the last two lessons, we talked about heaven. All right. What is heaven? Heaven is paradise. All right. It's this amazing place that God has, where God lives, right? It's God's house, all right? And He has invited us and made a room for us there, all right? And He has invited all those who want to be with Him to have a place there, all right? And so it's paradise. We're in the presence of God. There's no pain. There's no suffering. There's no sadness. It's all joy all the time. And around all those who are in heaven who are also having a wonderful time, right? So this is like everything. This is what we're made for, right? This is how God created us in a certain way that we desire this because it's where we want to be. We want to be with God in His presence. And it's just, imagine like the most fun you ever had in the world in your whole life. And this is like 10 times that. Right, 100 times, it's infinity times that. Right, this is doing that for the rest of your life. Right, so this is what we're made for. Right, heaven is everything. Right, it's where we want to go. Purgatory, what was that? Remember what purgatory was? Right, that's right. Purgatory is preparing us for heaven. Right, it's preparing us to experience this joy. Right, it's letting go of all the things that hold us back from having that joy. All right, so purgatory gets rid of all the things that hold us back from having 100% joy, so that we can experience that in heaven. All right, so that's what purgatory is. All right, it's cleaning all the stuff that we're holding on to, and getting us ready for heaven. All right. Now hell is the opposite of heaven. Right, hell is the lack of joy. There's no joy there. All right, it's holding on to the suffering. It's holding on to the pain. It's holding on to the sadness. It's wanting that really. That's really what hell is. Now, I want to explain what that means. All right. And why does that even exist? Why is there a hell? If God recognizes that there is that hell's not a good place and heaven's the best place, why is there even such a place as hell? Well, hell is not something God wanted. Right? Hell is not part of God's plan. Right? Hell is something that was set aside for those who didn't want what God wanted. Does that make sense? I hope so. Let's go a little further on that. All right. So remember when we had talked about sin, right? And we talked about mortal sin. And do you remember what mortal sin is? Well, mortal sin, remember, is choosing to do wrong with full knowledge, so you know it's wrong, right? Full consent, so no one's making you do the wrong thing, right? And it's a grave matter, so something serious, all right? And what does that do when we do all three of those things? It separates us from God, right? It breaks our relationship with God because we said no to Him. We said no to His plan, and we said no to His will and His commandments. All right? Now, if we do that and we don't want forgiveness and don't ask for it, then what does that mean? It means we're separated from God, right? It means we're still separated from God. We don't want to be with Him, all right? And that's what hell is. Hell is not wanting to be with God. And if we die, persevering in that state, or persisting in that state, or continuing in that state. Sorry for using bigger words. But if we continue to live life and want to live a life of mortal sin, right, and living in separation with God, well, that's what hell is. So if we die in that state, that means that's where we'll go, all right, because we don't want to be with God. All right? And God doesn't want to force us to be with Him, right? Because that's not true love, and God loves us. And because He loves us so much, He wants us to make a choice. And so if we don't choose God, he has set a place for those who don't want to be with him. All right? So that's what hell is. And we have an image of that through a good writer. His name is C.S. Lewis, right? And C.S. Lewis once said that the gates of hell are locked from the inside. All right? So that means that God doesn't send you there, right? You send yourself there, right? Someone chooses to go in there. So they open. So imagine a locked door from the inside. What does that mean? Like, let's say you are in your room and you lock it from the inside and you can't open it once you lock it. All right. God's not going to lock it from the outside. He's not going to lock you in there. All right. You're locking yourself in there. All right. So if you put yourself in there, it's because someone chose to go there. All right. God doesn't put you there. It's someone chooses to go there, and they lock themselves in there forever, which is a very sad thing. Right. It is a very sad thing. So that's why we want to focus on heaven, what we are made for. All right. And that's why it's important to know what hell is, but we really want to focus on heaven. All right. So we don't fall into the trap of wanting to go to hell. All right. I hope that helps, and I hope that makes sense, and I hope we continue to choose heaven together so that we can be in union with God and with each other in heaven and experience that joy and that love of God that He has prepared for us in heaven. Have a good day, and God bless.